Nice to see you all, and sorry about the difficult start, and I'm hoping that by the end of the workshop you'll be in your body, chilled and calm, and in a different place. So, you know, let's get started. So my reason for putting the workshop together was about, when I saw the conference theme, was because the situation that we all find ourselves in globally has really put us in a place of a generalized survival mode. And in that generalized survival mode, I was thinking about how we as human beings respond to that, and how disassociated and disembodied we can get at times. You know, there were points for myself when I was looking at the news and thinking, I can't actually take in any more, I can't take in any more deaths. And there was all the stuff going on in, you know, in America and other areas of the world, and the horrors. And so, you know, how do we survive as human beings with all of that? And unfortunately, fortunately, we become more disassociated to help ourselves cope. So I was thinking about health and what we need for health, and that really is that we can become more embodied because we choose to become embodied. I don't think we have a lot of choice when we are more disembodied, and that's so. If we don't have that choice and we're more in a reptilian brain, how do we get ourselves more back into a state of equilibrium? And I was talking with a small group of people, so I apologize to you guys just repeating myself again. I was thinking about Andy's keynote speak, and you know, all of it I found incredibly impactful, all the isms, all the shadow, but in terms of embodiment and coming back to ourselves, just coming back to the smaller picture, he said something about the CAM's offices being moved into this industrial estate, and there was a part of me going, really? You would do that, you know, with people with children? And, you know, and I was thinking, well, it's probably finances involved or something like that. And then I was thinking about how disembodied the people were that made that decision. And in terms of making that decision, really, how much is their work with their children being represented as being embodied, or is it that disembodied too, and what that means? So it brought up a lot of thoughts, and I was, you know, thinking about how embodied Andy was to, in that moment, even with the lorries and the trucks, to see the poor mother with her twins and the pram, and realize that this was not an easy trip for her. So that takes somebody to be in an embodied place to be able to hold the empathy and see the other. And so that's really what this workshop's about. And it's also about supporting us to be able to come back to ourselves, have our embodiment, our own embodiment as a resource. I'm going to attempt in a minute to put up the slides. So if you can bear with me a second, and I'm hoping it works. So while I'm doing this, I'm just kind of feeling myself in my chair and breathing. So embodying ourselves has become, you know, even more important at these times that we're all in, really. And by the nature, like I said, having to cope and manage is a process which naturally propels us to do the opposite. Unless we counteract the process of disembodiment, there's a potential for us to burn out. With all that entails, especially those that are working with people as they're trying to manage themselves in the world situation and their country situation the way it is. And so equilibrium is a state of health, and we do need more than ever to learn how to access our own internal resources. We have them even though we may not always believe that, or may not be as practiced at tapping into them at points when we may need it. So I just got a slide I'm going to put up, which was my thinking around disembodiment. So without awareness of bodily feeling and attitude, a person becomes split into a disembodied spirit and a disenchanted body. And that's a quote from Alexander Lowen, and he's one of the original teachers in the body psychotherapy world, and a lot of the body psychotherapy stuff has come out of his work. And then Peter Levine and Maggie Phillips, who come working more in the kind of trauma field, but it's still the body world, somatic world. Thoughts are interpretations and judgments of our feelings and sensations. We can't change our feelings and sensations with our thoughts, but our feelings can change our thoughts. So the first quote aptly describes the physical experience of what we as humans do to survive difficult times, which is to cut off, disassociate, and essentially to become disembodied. The second quote, this represents one of the reasons why I'm doing this workshop and why I imagine many of you are here. Our thinking is so valuable, but as I often say, our bodies never lie, and is immense and often an untapped resource. This happens for many reasons, often an automatic process until our awareness is enhanced. When in an embodied state of being, we can far more easily support our body-mind in its entirety, which by default provides us with more resources and a better ability for connection, and therefore an enhancement of our ultimate life and survival. So when I was thinking about embodiment, I found these three quotes. So I know you can all read it, so I don't know whether it's useful for me to read it to you, but the first quote, embodiment creates connection and reduces the need for disassociation and escaping from the body. Overcoming the need to disassociate from the body allows us to learn to feel what the body is feeling. With this connection, we move forward or move toward enhanced mind, body, heart, spirit awareness and the possibility of wholeness. Embodiment can be defined as a subjective experience, as a felt sense of being in my body, identifying with a lived body moment to moment, says Dirk Maverick. He's a psychotherapist, and I found that and I thought, for me, that's a really good quote. So shall I read that again? Embodiment can be defined as a subjective experience, as a felt sense of being in my body, identifying with the lived body moment to moment. And the last quote, our bodies play a huge role in the accomplishment of our goals and our overall happiness. Embodiment is about tuning into our physical bodies and learning ways to support our health and well-being so that we can do what we need to do and enjoy the journey. And thinking about transactional analysis and the body, looking at kind of this, for those of you who are transactional analysts here or in training, I was thinking about kind of the structural diagram, and if we can move between all aspects of our being in a free flow way and be in our body, that is health. That's what we do when we're working with our clients, working with their contaminations. But there is, a more somatic contamination that we can hold that's thinking about it, that's more about our body speaking, about our vagus nerve and our autonomic nervous system, and those areas of ourselves are something that we've really, I think, within the therapy world, unless you were a body psychotherapist, really got to grips with over the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years. So I've always found it hugely interesting and realized very early on that trauma and being attached to ourselves somatically was an important part of a client's work. So I'll just see where I'm going now. Okay, so today the plan is for our workshop. So we're going to do individual exercises. I'm going to apologize now because my timing, I can't work out where the timings are going, but I have a rough idea of how long each exercise will take. I really encourage you guys not to worry about the chat because this is an experiential workshop, unless of course you've got a problem, and Alison will let me know. We're going to have a 5-10 minute comfort break, which I will ask you to maybe get your pen and paper out and draw while you're waiting for other people to come back. So that will still be, you'll still be working within the workshop, and that'll be about halfway through, just in case anybody needs to go. And then we'll do a bit more individual exercises around your favorite place. And then we'll go into a breakout room, and I will again adjust the time depending on how we're doing, and then we'll finish with some kind of integration. I was going to say something around that. Yes, so if you guys haven't, you haven't been on your pre-conference walk, then please just think about a regular walk that you go on that you enjoy doing. But if you have been on your pre-conference walk, and then that's fine, then you've got those resources there. But the power of imagination is just as good as anything else. So feel free to imagine things and think about things that way, rather than think, oh, I can't do this because I haven't done the walk. And your favorite place, again, if you haven't got a picture and it's more a favorite place that you're holding in your mind, the power of imagination and remembering is just as good. So please don't worry about it. It's not an issue. So confidentiality. So I'm sure I don't need to tell you all this, but it's you know, we need to just go through it. So in any exchanges, you need only share as much as feels okay for you. Within a feedback process, it's best to, you know, it's best practices to speak only of your experience. So please respect all participants' confidentiality and any material they share with you in this workshop. And this is a really important one. Feeling safe and self-care are your priorities. You are an individual. This is your journey. You know your own body, mind, and your own physical capabilities. Feel free to adapt any of the directives I give you and to suit you and your physical capabilities. And this is really important too. Lastly, perfection is definitely not a requirement of this workshop. Definitely not. We've started as we mean to go on today. So perfection is definitely not a requirement. I don't want that up, so I'll get rid of that. I just need to find out where I am. Okay, so bear with me a second. So, my invitation to you all was to come along on this gentle journey exploring embodiment, encompassing the conference theme for today. I'm going to come out of the slide shares. There we go. If you haven't followed all the directives, I've spoken to you about that. Bear with me a second. I'm just trying to cut this down a little bit. So today is about getting familiar with yourself, reminding yourself of your own internal resources, helping you to find more strategies to support you on this difficult life journey that we all find ourselves on. A journey that I don't imagine anyone else would have wanted, but certainly a journey I think that hasn't all been negative. We've all learned a lot. We've learned a lot about our own individual resources, even though there's been some difficult things that I would imagine all of us have had to deal with. Right, so I'm going to, I suppose, the goal during the exercises is not to regress, but it's to notice your embodiment in the present. So we're not doing any regressive work, but we're just noticing our body in the present. So as a strategy, it's best during these exercises to keep your eyes opened, and unless directed otherwise, yeah, which I don't think at any point I will ask you to close your eyes. So if you find yourself floating off or thoughts coming into your head, you can gently bring yourself back into the present by noticing what's going on in your body or looking around the space that you're in. So feel free, as I said before, to adapt any instructions to suit you and only explore as far as it feels comfortable for you. So some of you, might have some physical difficulties with movements, and the movements are mainly gentle, really. So don't push yourself beyond your limits. Just do what feels comfortable. And I don't know whether people have any other issues with their physical selves. So again, just adapt yourselves around my instructions, and imagination is a really valuable asset. Okay, right. Let's so I have, I don't know, Alison introduced me, but I haven't introduced Alison. So Alison is supporting me today, and she's actually an integrative counsellor and psychotherapist herself, and she works out of Ulverston and Cumbria. So if there is any confusion around any of my directions, I don't know where all you guys are, whether English is your first language. I will try and make what I say as simple as possible. But if there is any confusion, just let Alison know, and then I will try and adjust the way I'm directing things. And so as a supportive measure, your curiosities whilst you're mindfully exploring and experimenting are very welcome, and perfection, as I said before, is not a requirement. So I'm going to ask that you leave any of your judgments somewhere else, safe and comfortable, for the next, I think we're working for an hour and 3/4, I'm not sure, but feel free to put integrating moments, questions, or anything else in the chat if you feel the need. And if there is anything at the end, and there is any time, which is not likely to be today, there might be, I'll see how I go with it, then we'll look at it then. So I hope your interest gets inspired. If time allows, we'll have short feedback at the very end. And that's it. So to recap, the purpose of the workshops to support you to find your supportive resources and assist you in expanding your own internal resources yourself, reminding you of what they are and encouraging you to engage with them, or even assist you in finding some more additional ones that you may not have been aware of. So at the end of the workshop, I'll be giving out a reading list, which will be on a slide. So if you want to take your learning further and explore further, you can have a look at those books and see what interests you and where they take you from today. And I have a feeling a lot of you have already been interested in this subject before. So we've talked about confidentiality, and we've talked about self-care. Right, let's start. So we're going to enter into exercise 1. I really recommend that you leave your screen on unless you feel really self-conscious. What you could do is just turn the camera away so we can't physically see, but just leave your camera on, and then I know that you're still there. And mics, I think, Alison, you're taking care of the mics, am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right. So then hopefully there won't be somebody's phone ringing, which then reminds me, so make sure you got all your phones off and anything that might disturb you while you're doing this exercise. So what we're effectively going to do is we're going to go and on your pre-conference walk, or a walk that you know very well, but we're going to just change it slightly to help you get into a more aware embodied place with it. So the other suggestion is, could you either do this exercise in bare feet or just in your socks? And we're going to be standing up. But we're going to start by breathing first and just doing a breathing exploration. So you can do this exercise standing up, sitting down in a chair or lying down on your back. So if you're going to lie down on your back, please ensure that you do so in such a way that you take any pressure off your back. Put a cushion under your knees, or if you're going to have your knees up, keep your feet flat on the ground in front of you. The goal, again, to remind you, is not to regress, but it's to be in the moment as you connect with yourself. So for these exercises, as I said before, I think it's better to keep your eyes open. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll just wait for, see if everyone's ready. I'm going to have to make a guess. Right, so find something fairly mundane to focus your attention on while you do this exercise. Then allow yourself to just breathe in with your normal pattern, just normal breathing. Take a minute or two to settle into your normal breathing pattern. Just take a notice of how you breathe. Are you breathing? So where does your breath go in your body as you breathe in? Your throat, your chest, your belly? Is it easier for you to breathe in, or is it easier for you to breathe out? There may be no difference, but just notice without judgment. Do you prefer to breathe through your mouth or your nose? Or do you prefer to breathe a full breath with both? Breathing in through your nose and breathing in out through your mouth. Give yourself a minute or two just to explore the different ways that you like to breathe and may not have noticed before, or how you like to breathe today. What is the difference between breathing through your mouth or your nose? You could try blocking one of your nostrils at a time and notice if there's any difference. Do you notice any other body tensions or sensations as you do this breathing? If thoughts come into your head during this time that has nothing to do with your curiosity, just say to them gently, there'll be time later, or just later. And with that same intention, move on back to your experience in the here and now. In your head and your face, in your shoulders and your chest, in your arms and your hands, in your back and your torso, in your pelvis and your hips, your thighs, your calves, your ankles, your heels, the arches of your feet, the top of your foot, the ball of your feet, and your toes. I'm afraid my dog's barking in the background, so just use that to support you. She's sleeping and dreaming of other dogs around her at the moment. So your breath helps you to feel all aspects of your body. Just stay with that scanning of your body. If you meet anything that feels painful, gently breathe through the pain and move on, keeping your curious mind. So now we're going to move on to a more structured way of breathing. And we're going to do some belly breathing, which you might have been doing. That might be your natural place, but it might not be. So for those that want a little bit more just technical information, we're only going to do a little bit of heady stuff here. Belly breathing or diaphragm breathing is actually a good technique to reduce stress and anxiety. And today, right now, we're going to use it to help you connect to that pre-conference walk or a recent walk you've been on, and also to help us all come down after today's difficulties getting together and contacting each other and connecting. We will be engaging our diaphragms, which for those that don't know or need reminding is a muscular sheet that separates the lungs from the stomach and other visceral organs. When you breathe in, your diaphragm contracts and moves down. The lungs expand, creating negative air pressure, enabling you to take in air. When you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes and moves upwards, and the lungs constrict, thereby expelling the air out. And this is more often an automatic process, unless you're doing it to calm yourself down, or you're just doing it because you're enjoying where you are. It activates your parasympathetic and your vagus nerve. So in your comfortable position, which is important because this exercise is probably going to take about 10 minutes. If you need to move or change your position to do this, do so now. And again, you can do this exercise standing, sitting, or lying down, whatever you prefer. At some point, I will ask you to get up onto your feet. So if you choose a lying down position now, it's going to be important that you roll onto your side and slowly get up from that position. Just take it nice and slowly, because it will take you a while to orientate your body in your space as you sit up. So that you can notice your breathing a little more, I'm going to invite you to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your tummy. So on your belly, adjacent to your lower rib cage, so it's higher on your tummy, not far down by your navel. So if you slowly allow yourself to breathe in deeply, and you can do that through your mouth and out through your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth, whatever feels comfortable. Just slowly breathe in and feel your air going into your body and your hands rising as it does, and then going out of your body and your hands going back down. You don't need to maintain your hands in that position, but if you find it supportive, then that's fine. Just keep breathing. So as we're doing this exercise, which is involving you doing the breathing nice and slow and gentle, you don't need to force anything. So when you breathe in, slowly filling in the bottom of your lungs, you'll feel your abdomen rise. And then again, when you breathe out, you're exhaling out slowly through your mouth or your nose. Feel your hands moving back and down. Just gently relax into this breathing pattern. So whilst you're breathing, can you notice the feeling of the material of your clothing underneath your hands? Can you feel the material of the clothing on your body? Are your hands cold or warm? As you feel the material of the clothing on your body, which parts of the body can you feel the material? Just keep breathing as you're exploring the sensations. Try keeping your eyes focused on something. Notice any smells around you. Or even imagine a smell or a taste of something that you've eaten and drunk, maybe your breakfast, or maybe the cup of tea or coffee or the herbal drink or the water that you had this morning. Can you hear any sounds? See, Daisy should have started barking now. That would have been very useful. But these things never happen the way you want, do they? Can you hear any sounds? What about inside your space? I'm sure you can hear my voice. Maybe you can hear my ticking clock if you haven't got a ticking clock. What about outside your space? Can you hear any sounds? Don't forget to keep breathing. Just enjoy being with yourself for a minute or two. Nobody wants anything. Nobody needs anything. Just enjoy being with yourself for a minute or two. Maybe you can allow your mouth to smile, even if you don't quite authentically feel it. Just try it. Just allow your cheeks to pull your mouth into a gentle smile. Notice if that changes anything in your body. So when you're ready and in your own time, slowly get up onto your feet. Orientate yourself back into your space and your new position. Feel your feet walking on the ground underneath you. So I'm going to say to you, there's a caveat here. If you find yourself yawning at points, please don't worry about it. I'll be thinking great. So give yourself a nice big slow stretch. And then sway your body from side to side. Just claim back your new space that you're in now. So you can sway your body from side to side like this. Yeah. Allow your hands to gently swing, just backwards and forwards. Claim your space and the here and now around you. This is your space. You can even try marching your feet a little on the spot, just so that you can really connect to the earth. Feel each foot touching the ground. So if you keep your head looking ahead in line with your body, start by slowly turning your head to the right and gaze at whatever passes them, and then do the same in a minute when you turn your head to the left. Just gaze. And again, slowly turn your head one way and look at what passes you, and then the other way. Just take in what you see. And as you turn your head, you're going to feel a bit of a lovely stretch. But if you've got neck issues, only go as far as is comfortable. Just enjoy the stretch and just do it about 5 times. Slowly in your own time, just remember to keep breathing. Bring your head back to center. Now, very gently, move your head slowly towards your chest, like this. And then gently move your head slowly towards your right shoulder. So a bit like that. That's it. And then go the other way. Just remember to keep breathing. And feel your breath go right down to your feet. And then you can, on one of the momentums, just take your head right round behind you without hurting your neck. And then try the other way. So you can see the ceiling. Just do that about 4 or 5 times just to loosen your neck up. Now, where should we go from here? So if you come back to center, just keep breathing, just notice your breath. Don't forget your belly breathing. Feel free to move your feet for comfort as you do this exercise. You can imagine roots growing into the ground, or you can imagine your feet weighted by something just nice and comfortable, something that you're in control of, not whatever it is in control of you. So with your eyes, find something to focus on in your room. Just remember to keep breathing. Just notice one thing. Look at the shape and the color and the texture of it. You can play about with it with your eyes. Maybe it was something that you brought from your pre-conference walk. Bring it more into focus and then allow your eyes to relax so that it blurs. Just play about with those two polarities, focusing and then blurring. And don't worry about getting it wrong or right. What is the object? What does it mean to you? Or what does it do for you? Just keep breathing. Okay, so slowly start to walk around your space, connecting with your feet again. Now we're going to imagine going on your pre-conference walk or a walk that you know fairly well. And because I can do magical things in this space, we're going to imagine how your walk would have been if you didn't have any shoes on. What kind of surfaces would your feet have had to have dealt with? Concrete, tarmac, grass, mud, rocks, stones, gravel, grit. How would your feet have felt? The sensations, the temperature. How would your feet have moved differently on that journey? Allow yourself to explore. Would you have gone on tippy toe or on your heels? Let your feet explore that. Or even at points on the side of your feet. You can try it both ways, on the outer and inner sides of your feet. Just give yourself a minute or two to imagine doing parts of that walk in your bare feet. You may have changed some of the direction that you were going in. You might have walked on the grass instead of on the path. Allow yourself just to play around with that with your feet. Okay, so in a magical kind of way, imagine that the items you picked up on your journey, or if you haven't got anything, don't worry about it. Maybe imagine something that you would pick up, like a leaf or a flower or a piece of grass or a stone even. Something that would, attract your attention. Imagine looking at them or look at them. And if you have them with you now, feel them. Feel them with your fingers. Allow yourself to connect with them, the texture, the colour. Do they have a smell? Are they cool? Or do they feel warm? Are your hands warming them up? Just allow yourself to play with that for a minute or so. Don't forget to keep your feet on the ground and be attached to your legs. And your legs are attached to your pelvis. And your pelvis is attached to your torso. And your chest and torso are interlinked. And you've got a neck on those shoulders. And you've got a head on your shoulders. Okay, so now let's come back and focus your eyes on various objects around your space. If you have a drink with you, take a sip of your drink if you have one. If you don't have a drink, don't worry about it. Just imagine having a drink. Does it have a smell? What does it taste like? Is it cool or warm? What's the texture of it? Can you feel it going down your throat, into your tummy? Does your tummy greet it with a rumble? Listen out for sounds in your space again, and listen out for sounds outside your space. Reconnect with your body from head to toe by focusing within on each part of you. As you're breathing, imagine your breath moving down further every time you breathe in that kind of magical way. So breathing in, down from your head, your face, your shoulders, your chest, down into your arms, your hands, your back, your torso, your pelvis, your hips, your thighs, your calves, down into your ankles, your heels, your feet, and your toes. Yes, your toes. Give them a really delicious wiggle. Feel all of your foot on the ground. Walk slowly, like you see those Tai Chi people doing, heel to toe, feeling all of your foot attaching to the ground. Remember to keep breathing. Okay, we're going to try a little shake it off, just to recalibrate ourselves. So I don't know whether any of you got any dogs or you've observed dogs when they start to shake, they start from their head and that shake goes further and further down into their body and their hips and then out of their tail. So just shake it all out. Just shake it all out. Just shake it all out. Like that. That's it. So only be as vigorous as is comfortable for you. So try that again. So start by shaking your head, shaking your face, shaking your shoulders, shaking your chest, shaking your arms, then down into your hands and shaking your fingers, your back, your whole torso, your pelvis, your hips, your bum, shake down, shake your legs, one at a time even, or both together quickly. Okay, welcome back. How are you all? I can't see you. Okay, I'm going to see. Welcome back. Okay. Well, you're looking okay. I don't know whether anyone's had any difficulties because I wasn't able to follow that. So this feels like a really good point to take a little wee break. And so what I'm going to recommend is, I'm hoping you've all got kind of pens and papers. It doesn't matter what you've got, and your colouring book. And I'm kind of wanting you to, inviting you really to, and wanting you to, but you don't have to, not wanting to encourage the adaptive sides of you, to think about your favorite place, that place that you really get a lot of resourcing from, a place that you visited that really means a lot to you. So while we're all going and having that break, start to put down on paper maybe words or symbols, or you can even draw a bit of a picture of your favorite place, what it means. Just use your imagination, just follow your own need for what you want to get out of that. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. And I'll see you back here. Well, I'll still be here really. I'm just going to go and have a quick comfort break myself at 1 o'clock, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So see you guys in just right. So if you want to put your pens and papers away for now. So we're going to go on and visit your special place in an embodied way. A place that, you know, you might not be able to visit physically now, but or even for a while, but it is a place that you can visit creatively within your embodiment. A visiting that, if you practice after today using that skill as a resource, will hopefully be valuable for you. So this exercise that you're going to do now is probably more easily done standing up. Can I ask you guys to put your cameras on so I can see you, just so that you haven't all disappeared? Brilliant, thank you. Okay. And again, as long as, you know, you don't have to be stood in front of it. That's, you know, it's just so that I know that you're still here and you're still connected. So if you'd like to get yourselves back onto your feet. So this exercise needs you to kind of keep your feet and legs stationary for a bit. So if you have your feet about hip distance apart, enjoy the feeling of you standing on your legs, and enjoy the feeling of your feet on the ground beneath you. And if you're unable to stand for whatever reason, just use the power of your imagination. So with your hands, tap your legs, and then tap right down to your feet. Put your hands on your feet as you root your legs and root your feet into the ground. Now bring yourself up and then put your hands on your hips and imagine rooting your hips into your legs, which are now rooted onto your feet, and with your feet rooted into the ground beneath you. Keep a slight bend of your knee so that your knees are loose, not held tight, to take the pressure off them, and that will also support your back. Now don't forget your breathing. Very easily done. There's no need to worry too much about how you're breathing, as this is more an exercise to warm up your body. Just do what feels okay for you. Slowly engage into a gentle swing. Yes, a spiral your torso around, slowly to the left and slowly to the right. Just allow that kind of spiral movement to and fro as far as feels comfortable to you. And move your head in line with your body, keeping it relaxed and in the flow as you swing. And allow your eyes to hold a soft gaze so you can scan your space in front of them. Just keep swinging, warm into that swinging movement. Let your arms hang by your side. You may find that they start to swing with the momentum of your body just swinging side to side. Well, more a spiral. Just keep this nice and gentle movement forward, moving forward. So now you've warmed up into your gentle swing. Bring yourself slowly back to center We're now going to change your warm-up movement to something slow and more intentional to support you more purposefully engaging with your breathing. So starting from center, on a slow in-breath, slowly in a deliberate manner, turn your torso, keeping your head relaxed and adjacent with your body as you turn. Then allow your head, when you've reached as far as your body will go, to turn a little further till you can just see past your shoulder. On the out breath, come back to center. Now take that movement the other way, starting from the center. On a slow in-breath, slowly in a deliberate manner, turn your torso, keeping your head facing forward in line with your body. Then allow your head, when you can't go any further, to turn that little bit further so that you can see over your other shoulder. So on the out breath, then bring your body back to center. So the next time you go, you don't need to stop at center, but just get yourself into kind of a movement of looking over your shoulder. Allow your eyes to focus on things that pass you. So on the inhale, and turn your body, keep your feet and legs rooted. Allow your gaze to become more focused. And just see what you can see behind you as you do that. You might find that you can go a little further each time you try that exercise. Right, I'm not seeing it. So when you come back to your center position, looking ahead, feel your feet on the ground. And then for a count of 5, take in a deep breath. And as you do so, bring your shoulders up to your ears. And then on an out breath, for a count of 7, bring everything down, your shoulders, your face. And then on an in breath, bring your shoulders back up and then relax everything down. And that's it. One more time in your center position for a count of 5. Take a deep breath in. Bring your shoulders up and breathe everything down for a count of 7. Relaxing everything. Okay, so we're going to find a place to rest while we explore your special place. So if you would normally be standing there, then remain standing if you're standing now. Or if you would normally sit down, then find a place to sit and imagine being in that space, and you can see 360 degrees of it as you turn your body round. So this is a place that is a resource for you and feels good for you. Don't forget your breathing as you listen to the directions. Do you remember that belly breathing? Just take in some long, slow, deep breaths in and out. Imagine your body entering into that lovely, comfortable space. Imagine the scene in front of you. What can you see? Take a few seconds to really bring what's around your special place into your focus. You could even allow your body to twist around so you can get as much of a view as you can, or you can imagine it. You don't have to be turning if you don't want to. Imagine the familiar sounds of that place. Birds, people, noises. What kind of noises are there? Imagine the smells of that place, the nature in the area, the animals, the food. What would be your favorite food or drink when you go there? What about other familiar smells that help you remember it? Imagine the temperature and how your body would feel in that temperature. If it's a hot temperature or if it's a cold temperature or anything else, how would your body feel? How would your clothes feel against your body if you're wearing anything? Would you have a hat on, shoes on? What kind of shoes? Or would you be in bare feet? Imagine the surface under your feet, whether you've got shoes on or not. Imagine how your body would feel in your special place. Imagine other sensations you would feel, like the feeling of various objects, such as chairs, the chairs that you might sit in there, water, the materials. What if there was a breeze, or if the air is still? What if it's humid or it's freezing cold? What kind of sensations would that give you in your body? Really allow yourself to bathe literally with your whole body mind into that memory, into that space. Okay, so allow your face to relax and your eyes to relax, and allow yourself to just draw your cheeks back so you can go into a lovely big smile, inside or outside. It doesn't matter, no one else can see you other than yourself. Okay, let's slowly bring ourselves back. Change your position, yawn, stretch. Focus your eyes back into your space right now. Remember the previous exercises you took in your whole space? We'll do that now as you stretch and look around your space. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, bring your attention back to me. Hello, I hope you enjoyed that. While you're all coming back, I'm going to attempt to get my slides up. So I think this is a good time for you guys to go into the breakout room. I was debating whether to leave it or not leave it, but I think it's an important part of the experience more than the feedback. So we are going to go into the breakout rooms. So what I've done to make things easier is I've made a slide of the instructions. So if you get a phone out and just do a screenshot, you can take a copy of the instructions as I talk you through it. So you're going to have about 15 minutes in your breakout room, maybe 20 minutes in your breakout room. And I'm guessing you're going to want to just say a quick hello to each other and whatever. So divide the remaining time between yourselves. Decide before you start who goes first, second, third, fourth, and then taking it in turns, talk about your special place in terms of the environment and your embodiment and the sense of that in that space. So the speaker's going to talk about the familiar sights, colors, textures. They're going to talk about the familiar sounds of that area. They're going to talk about familiar sensations. They're going to talk about the smells, the tastes, and how that special place ultimately leaves you feeling. And you're going to stick with positive emotions that it brings up for you. So to the others that are listening, imagine being in that special place with your colleague. You can have it vicariously. Allow yourself to embody that space. And there's some people leaving, but bye-bye. Take good care of yourselves. Allow yourself to embody that space. You may have preferences that are not the same as the speaker. So if the speaker likes to go skydiving and you're afraid of heights, you can be sat in a nice cafe, just imagine it, and let them go and do their flying high. So does everyone feel like they're ready to go into a breakout room? Have they got a picture of the instructions? Wave if you're ready. Ready. It looks like everyone's ready as far as I can tell. So I'm sorry if I'm missing you and you're not. I'm hoping everyone's back. So welcome back. There's still some people coming back. Okay. Right. Does it feel like everyone's here? If you think so, can you put your hands up? It does feel like everyone's here. Okay, I'm going to take a risk. Let's go for it. So this quote that I found in Nick Totten's book, I think really describes what we've all been doing, really. And the practice of tracking one's embodiment acts as a gentle form of self-therapy. So it does take practice. You know, I didn't even know I had a body when I came on this journey of psychotherapy 20 years ago. And it does take practice. I was a nurse before and worked more in a medical model, and the various ways we can learn to connect with our body more. In fact, I'd forgotten something that I've adopted into my life, and I was talking about it when you guys went into the breakout room, was the fact that I wear barefoot shoes. I don't mean the shoes with the toes in them. I know some people wear those, but shoes that help me feel the ground underneath my feet. And I do feel that that's an interesting and supportive way of living in the world. So I'll just give you that. But there's other things you can do, like swimming. So when you're swimming, you're in your own space. When you're doing things like yoga and Tai Chi, and working, any kind of work that you do with your body is helpful if you remember you have a body. I think that's the difference. And for client work, for those that work with clients, it needs to be done very, very slowly and very, very gently, you know, and sometimes it can be months before I'll say to somebody, do you notice your foot shaking, depending on people's different way of being in the world, because it could be too much to have that noticed. So learning more about yourself will then support you to resonate with your clients and support them to become more embodied. So on that note, I'm going to finish with this poem that I found, and I just thought it's about presence, and it's by John O'Donoghue, and I think he's an amazing poet. So if you want to hear, awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you of all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. Take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. I'll read that one more time. I don't know about you, but it takes me a couple of goes. Awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you of all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. Take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. Thank you, everyone. Here's a list. You'll get a copy of these slides, so don't worry about it. And yep, have a fabulous rest of conference. And if there's a few minutes, there should be 10 minutes for.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes. Yeah.